I'll be quite honest. This little section here in the Gospel of John is about spiritual blindness. And I just wanted to preface it by saying that I think a lot of spiritual blindness is related to humility. If we think we know it all, we know everything about God, even if we've read the Bible 10,000 times and know all the claims of Jesus, we know the Old Testament, New Testament, there's still things as human beings we don't know. Even if we think that the Bible is the unerrant, true, literal word of God, there's a lot more to existence, I think, than even the Bible covers. I think the Bible is what we can actually grasp and swallow and understand for the most part. But I think there's more. Even the Apostle Paul said, we only know in part. And that was the Apostle Paul who wrote most of the New Testament. And he said, we only know in part. I mean, we're only human beings. There's only so much that our brains can handle. We only use about, 10% of our brains. So when it comes to spiritual blindness, I think we really need humility. We can't ever say that we know everything about God. There's no way. And if we did know everything about God and put it into practice, I think the world would be a different place entirely, don't you? Anyway, welcome to The Word in the Raw. My name is Jen, and today we're going to be on chapter 9 of the Gospel of John, verse 35, where Jesus talks about spiritual blindness. It makes me think about what Jesus said in another part of the New Testament, that the first will be last and the last will be first. And that kind of relates to what this section says as well, if you want to keep that in mind. So we're on chapter 9. Oh, and by the way, before I forget, you guys thought I was going to start a video without telling my disclaimer. Oh, see, the disclaimer that I have at the beginning of these videos, even though you probably think it's a pain in the butt that I say it every time, there's a reason I say it. And part of it is the humility thing, because I don't think I'm anything special. I'm not a theologian or a pastor or a reverend or a prophet, ordained minister, doctor, apostle, Bible scholar, spiritual guru. I don't know the fancy languages. I just know English pretty much. Pretty much. if I'm lucky. And I'm just a girl, nothing special. I'm just a girl who wants to get into the Word on a daily basis. I don't know much more than anybody else about this Bible. So that's my way of keeping myself in check, by telling you the things that I'm not. I'm not an expert. God is. Keep that in mind. So we're going to go into the chapter of John's Gospel, which is chapter 9, verse 35. Verse 35, Jesus heard that they had thrown him out. Him meaning the man that he had cured of blindness. The Pharisees threw him out of the synagogue because they didn't want to hear about the truth about Jesus and who he was. And it was getting a little too real for them, so they threw the guy out. We went through that in the last video, so if you didn't see last video, go back and check that out. So Jesus heard that they'd thrown the man who was cured of blindness out, and when he found him, he said, "Do you believe in the Son of Man?" "Who is he, sir?" the man asked. "Tell me so that I may believe in him." Jesus said, "You have now seen him. In fact, he is the one speaking with you." Then the man said, "Lord, I believe." And he worshiped him. See how easy it could be so easy to believe. It's a matter of like childlike faith, like this man who was cured of blindness. So I could actually believe that, he would believe. But the Pharisees also knew that he was cured of blindness. They saw it themselves and they couldn't believe. It's a choice. It could be really difficult for some people or instantaneous, like this guy. It's a crapshoot. So he said, Lord, I believe, and immediately worshiped him. Didn't even think about it, just worshiped him. And Jesus said, for judgment I have come into this world so that the blind will see, and those who see will become blind. Now there he's talking about the religious people who believe that they saw everything, knew everything, but they didn't. They knew languages, they knew the scriptures in and out, they had the rituals and everything, but they knew nothing because the Messiah was standing right in front of them and they couldn't see him. Verse 40, some Pharisees who were with him heard him say this and asked, what? Are we blind too? And Jesus said, if you were blind, you would not be guilty of sin. But now that you claim you can see, your guilt remains. So he was telling the Pharisees that because they thought they knew everything, that they were completely blind. And they were completely blind. They were blinder than the guy who actually was blind in the eyes. That's pretty much it for today. Keep yourselves humble because there's always more to learn. There's always more to find out, not only about God, but about ourselves, about the world, about other people. If we knew everything, how boring would that be? God knows everything. He's the only one who knows everything and the only one who ever will know everything. If we had nothing more to learn on this planet, how boring would our lives be? And on that note, like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And tomorrow, not next week, tomorrow we're going to go into the Good Shepherd and his sheep. And there's a lot of red writing here. So that means most of it is going to be Jesus's words. And it also goes into the I am statements, which number about 7 so far in John's gospel. A lot of I am statements that the Pharisees ignored. So thanks for tuning in. We will be back tomorrow, God willing. And like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And have a wonderful day. God bless. Bye-bye.